In November, they release it. So coming up in the next, I don't even know when it is, next week or the next 2 weeks, is the NAR conference. Like, do you know when it is?
NAR conference.
Yeah, it's in the next week or two. Doesn't matter. But at that conference, they will release the 2022 survey of home buyers. So what you're looking at, what I'm going to show you here, is the 2021, but it's the most current. Now the new one will come out. Now I buy this every single year. It was like $20. Since COVID hit, for whatever reason, they've given it away. I don't know if they're going to give it away this year, or if they're going to charge for it. But you can go get this if you want. There's a ton of information, like way more than what I'm going to show you. But here's why I was saying to you that you need to work your sphere of influence. So this part of the survey, what you're looking at is, this is how the method that people use, that sellers use to find an agent. So when you look at that survey, tell me what you notice from that. I know, what does he show me?
What? I don't know. It's maybe you should push got it.
Oh, okay. There we go. I thought you were doing a screen share. It's like,
most people were referred by friend, neighbor, or relative.
Mm-hmm.
On all fronts.
People can't see it in the back.
Yeah, they really can't see it.
Is it possible?
I don't know if I can.
Can you just print that and give everyone a copy? No, I'm just kidding.
But you're welcome to, if you can't, you're welcome to stand
Move
up
to the
in front.
front.
I tried the control plus. It didn't work. I don't think I'm.
For the sheriff.
So smart.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you get close to take a picture though.
Yeah, feel free to stand up, come closer, whatever, to take a look at it.
Oh, yeah. I can't even get a good picture from here. Well, most people either use who they were referred to or use their
Yeah, I
agent.
don't think you can. Yeah, I don't think it is. We just need a bigger TV. Can you take care of that? Sure.
Yeah, put it on the list of to-dos.
Okay, so you'll notice here though, the referred buyer as a friend, neighbor, or relative is 39% of all sellers. Use the agent previously is 29%. So for me, I would say what constitutes the SOI? Your SOI, what's going to constitute it is those two added together. So you add those two together, you're now at 68%. So over 2/3 of the time, where is this listing going to come from?
Your sphere.
Your SOI. Now, notice though, after that, the third best way to get a listing is other. I wish I knew what other was, because it's the third best way to get a listing, but I don't know what it is, so.
It's probably luck.
Yeah,
exactly.
I don't know what it is.
Probably.
But what do you notice after that though? After you drop off the top three, then what?
The numbers get real small.
So see, that's the thing. So that's the reason I show you this. And part of what I want you to see is, like, I'm trying to drive home the point of, you got to work your sphere of influence. That's why you have to have your sphere of influence being one of your sources of business, is because 68%, over 2/3 of the time, the way they're going to choose who they're going to list their home with is going to be a referral, or they are a friend, neighbor, or relative. Okay. So hopefully you get that. But then notice after that, it kind of goes 4, 3. But what you should do for sure is do a bunch of newspaper advertising or home book ads. Because this asterisk means it's less than 1%. But so you'll kind of notice that a lot of times the stuff you're going to go spend a whole bunch of money on isn't necessarily going to work that great. Meaning, like, I have one agent at the office that, like, he swears by, and don't be offended if you do this, because I'm okay with you do it as long as you do it in conjunction with what we're talking about. But if you think you're going to get business just from doing a calendar or putting your business card on a magnet with your face on it, and I heard somebody say once that the best part about that, if you have a magnet with your business card on your business card with your face on the picture, is it's a great thing to help people lose their appetite. They put it on the fridge. They go to the fridge and just kidding. But here's the point: is notice how the way people choose their agent is it's off of SOI. The other stuff works. I don't want to take away from it, but it's not like one other area is so much better than another. The only little bit of a caveat to that. So that's the sellers. Let's see what it does for buyers.
I have a question.
Yes.
Do they ever get in depth with like if it's a repeat? I sold the house, they call me each years to relist it, the third, whatever, I can't see that percentage, but the 30-some%. Is that like transactions within a time period or? Because a lot of people use somebody that they use recently, let's say, and if the transaction took place 20 years ago or whatever, I think that would be a lot different, right?
Well, when you say different, I'm
Like-
sure you mean.
A repeat customer and in that like category of whatever it's saying, 30, the sellers are using the agent they used prior to that. Yeah. Is this NAR, this one here?
Uh-huh.
They usually have like, used within the last 5 years or something like that, caveat to that. Because I thought that dropped off a considerable amount.
Oh, yeah, I see what you're saying.
Over a time period of,
Longer
pre-internet, free, all that
Yeah, I
stuff.
got what you're saying. And I don't remember if it does have the additional breakdown.
Yeah,
I'll have to
maybe
look,
the next
but-
one will.
So, it could be. But, it is a little disturbing though, that sellers, repeat sellers only used the agent, they used the agent previously that helped them buy the home basically 30% of the
Yeah,
time.
that's low. It's really low.
But why would that be? Like, I'm not surprised. Because why? Why am I not surprised?
They don't keep in contact.
Because agents don't keep in
Yeah.
contact with them. So it's not surprising. All right, now let's look at the buyer side. What do you notice on the buyer side?
It's still very, very high.
50%, half of the time, the way that a buyer is going to choose the agent they're going to use is either referred by or as a friend, neighbor, or relative, or they used the agent previously. So again, 50%, and then outside of that, you'll notice it drops off pretty dramatically again. Outside of that. So anyway. All right,
Oh, no, there isn't.
go ahead, Ken.
I just wanted to add something that was interesting that happened for me. So during the political environment that went on in the last few years, I lost 30% of my SOI. I literally counted, it was 30%. I'm not making up the
And
number.
when you say lost it, what do you
They
mean?
moved out of state.
Oh, okay.
So they moved out of state. And then my son says to me, well, Dad, just go work and put a new client in your SOI. And what people don't understand is that you're planting that seed as your best client, and they grow as far as having a family, kids, and everything else. So that when you sell a house today, it's not really going to bear fruit for a while. So when you lose that much, it's really hard to recover that back up. Because my clientele that I had was constantly brothers, sisters, family, and you cut that off, it's gone.
Yeah.
It's not the same as putting a new person in there.
Do
So
the same thing every
cultivating
5
and
years.
keeping in touch
Yeah.
with your past clientele, it's just automatically, naturally going to grow into a lot of business because of they have a new kid, they need a bigger house, they have a family, brother, sister, whatever. You cut that off, you can't just replace it with a new seed and expect the same outcome. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, so, but I am gonna show you actually how you can make it very, very efficient though, even with that happening. So that's what I'm gonna show you. Now, with that being said though, like what I do wanna say, emphasize what he's saying is like, what you're gonna see in the process that I'm gonna show you is when you start, the threshold to putting somebody in your SOI is really, really low. And over time, it's gonna
Do you have a
grow.
pulse?
What?
Sure.
Yeah, exactly. If they have a pulse, they can go in to begin with, yes. But over time, what you're gonna notice is the threshold, the barrier that people have to cross to get into it goes up and up and up and up. And so what Ken's saying is right. If he lost 30%, the threshold to getting in drops down But what I'm gonna show you is you can get it back up there pretty quickly through the process that I'm gonna show you, okay? All right, so now, here's the next piece of this, what we're gonna do. So with that in mind, we're gonna talk about now, I'm gonna give to you today 4 protocols for you working your sphere of influence, okay? The rest of the day is gonna be talking about these 4 protocols. Now, why do I call them protocols? Notice I didn't say 4 rules for your SOI. I'm saying, what's a protocol?
Procedure. Step by step.
Okay, but isn't some rules, wouldn't it be kind of the same thing?
People break rules.
Okay, that's why I'm calling it a protocol. You just got it, that's right. Yeah, they are, you have to do it, yep. And so here's the thing, what I'm gonna show to you, and I'm gonna break it down for you guys in terms of the numbers and things, but what I'm gonna show you, if you will follow this process, you are gonna make a significant income. And I'm gonna show you the transactions, but using your numbers. Well, in fact, actually, let me first tell me this. What is the average commission that you guys get on a transaction? How much money is on average as an agent gonna walk away with in a closing from a loan?
Like 15,000.
15,000? Okay.
15.
Okay, so we'll use that as our number. So based on that, if you don't do anything else that I've taught you this whole week, and you'll do what I'm gonna show you now, you can make $450,000 from real estate a year, not just over time, like per year, 450,000, if you'll just do what I'm gonna talk to you about. It will generate for you, it's somewhere in the neighborhood of $450,000 a year from real estate by doing just what we're gonna talk about. And now, with that being said, I will guarantee that to you, provided you follow the 4 protocols. You gotta do the 4 things. You can't round corners. See, like, for example, what I'm gonna show to you, if you thought of it as that's a square, but if you went, well, I don't really like that part that Russ said, so I'm not gonna do it exactly that way. And I'm not sure about this part, so I'm not gonna do that. I don't know if they'll wanna do that either, and I'm not gonna do that. Now what do I have?
The circle.
Sort, not it, like, it's not a square anymore, right? So just keep in mind, the reason I'm saying I'm gonna give you 4 protocols is they are required conditions, okay? And you will start to see the results of this within 6 to 9 months. Meaning, so now, I say that because of this. Who knows about how bamboo grows? What do you know about bamboo?
Grass.
Goes 2 inches a day.
Gross. 2 inches a day?
Depends on the good bamboo, but
Wow.
it's a grass.
Okay, so does it grow, it grows fast or slow?
Pass.
Okay, sort. So here's what it looks like. This is what bamboo growing looks like. Okay. Remember, I'm not an artist, but.
You said it. I thought it, you said it.
I'm okay with it. I get it.
Okay, whatever.
So, but here's the thing. It does grow really fast when it starts to grow. The problem is it takes 4 years putting its root structure in place before it starts to grow. So yes, it goes really fast. And so when I say that, it goes to like 90 feet within a couple weeks or something. Like, I don't know the exact time frame. But what happens though is the first little while, it seems like nothing's happening. So here's what I'm saying to you. This process is going to look something like this, where what's going to happen for you is, I just told you, is you will see results from this 6 to 9 months from today. So usually what I recommend for people to do is to put in your calendar for 9 months from today to call Russ and tell him if you followed all 4 protocols and if it worked or not. I've only had 1 person ever call me. Now, that doesn't mean that only 1 person's ever done this process, but I've only ever actually had one person call me. When I say this every time I teach it, and I've taught this for many years. I will say 9 months from today, call me and tell me if you did all 4 protocols and if it's working or not. I had one person call me and I answered the phone, said, hey, this is Russ. And they said, hey, Russ, this is so-and-so. And I had in my calendar that I was supposed to call you, but I don't know why. And I said, let me tell you why. And then I said, did you do the 4 protocols, the 4 things I told you? No. Okay, well, good news is you can start over, start again. So remember yesterday I said, you guys should come back to this class? Honestly, this is one I would say every single time I teach it, you should come back to it until it's working for you. And when it's working, I would say, okay, you don't have to come back anymore. And why I say that is I went to this class many, many, many times because I kept thinking I understood the 4 protocols. They're not hard, by the way, but I kept thinking I was doing it. And then I'd come back to the class and be like, oh, I missed that part. Okay, I got to do that. So my recommendation is you should do this over and over and over again because it's not hard. You're going to see you're going to see it's very doable. When I give you the 4 protocols, it's very doable. And I can promise you, I guarantee it. I will guarantee it. Let me say it this way. I have never once had anybody ever call me up and say, I did exactly what you said to do and it didn't work. It's never happened. If they will do what I tell you to do, it is guaranteed to work. And the reason is because it's a math problem. And I'll show you. Now, it's not hard math. So if you don't like math, don't worry. It's not hard math. But I'm going to show you how the working of your sphere of influence is a math problem. It's not a people problem. It's a math problem. Okay. Now, so I'm going to come back to this and we'll refer to it. But notice the reason why I say that is you're going to leave here today really excited about what we have to say. I promise you, you're going to leave excited about it and being like, okay, I can, because you're going to see, oh yeah, I can see how that would work. You're going to see that it will work. You're going to leave excited. But I want to point out something to you because part of why I say this is here's my frustration with it is you're going to leave here excited, but unfortunately, and I'm not trying to be negative, but just past experience tells me most of you are not going to do it. And so part of what I'm doing right now is I'm trying to challenge you to be like, no, I'm going to do it. Like, I want you to leave here saying, no, I'm going to commit. I am really going to do this. That's why I'm doing and saying it. And so I'm pointing out some of this stuff so that when you leave, if you do get frustrated and or you just start to not do it, you can hopefully remember this and, oh yeah, I got to do this. But so keep in mind, because I think part of why people quit doing it is similar to what I said back here. It's because you'll leave here really excited about it and ready to go do it. But somewhere along the way, somebody else is going to show up and go, oh, I just did this open house and I got all this stuff. And then you're going to go, oh, well, I need to go do that. And you'll quit doing the 4 protocols, which, by the way, open houses, for me personally, so I told you have 2 or 3. For me personally, if I were to just up and move from Utah down to here and start selling real estate, I would do open houses and SOI would be my 2 ways that I would grow this. And I'll show you why and how that is. Go ahead.
I was thinking open houses also includes door knocking though, if you do it properly.
Exactly.
So, okay, so that's fine.
So, tricking you a little.
Okay. I just wanted, I started thinking about it. Well, then that's
But here's the difference. So you're right on what she just said. She said, but open houses, the way I teach it, includes door knocking. Yeah, it does. And here's the thing though. The difference is it's not scattered like this. It's coherent.
Okay.
You're doing everything you're going to do prospecting should be, after today, designed around driving people to your SOI. And so, yes, that's why I'm going to door knock about the open house. So that makes it this coherent versus incoherent marketing. Is I'm doing the door knocking Trying to do, because could you figure it out? Yes, and over time you probably.
Now we get. They can't hear you, so that's what I'm trying to.
Oh,
do.
you asked, okay, they should now, because I have hit on,
Okay.
I think.
So you guys are good? Can you guys hear now?
Can you hear me now? Isn't that a commercial?
Yep.
Yes, I could hear. Thank you.
All right, no problem.
Okay. So yeah, what happens is most of the top producing agents just intuitively do this stuff. So it probably is a little bit more structured. How I'm teaching you is probably a little more structured than what most agents are going to do it. But intuitively, they figure it out. So yeah, I'm not surprised for you to say, oh, that's how we do it, because that's what it is. Okay, so now the way we're going to manage our prospects is that we're going to contact them once a week until they become a client. They become over here, I move them over to the SOI, or I just flat out drop them. Okay, so the last area is what I call suspects. And I don't know what's changed. It used to be when I would, the whole reason, I just one day called them suspects and the class laughed, so I always did that. And over the last couple of years, nobody laughs at that. And I'm not expecting you to, it's fine, but it's funny how, I don't know why people don't laugh. What?
You had some giggles.
When you did giggle, okay, good. That's that. So really, it's SOI, and I, just kind of rhymed with, we suspect they're going to do something. But I don't understand that. It used to be like a good laugh. And,
I never heard you say it.
well, none of these guys. Well, most of these guys haven't either. So I don't know. Anyway, that's okay. So now, so what we're going to do now is we're going to get into what did I miss?
I need to go up next time.
You want to do
You
it
have
again?
to like.
Yeah,
What did you over?
Zoom was laughing. You guys were laughing, right? So it's on.
They said it wasn't funny.
Stick to your day job, not drawing.
Hey, we got the laugh. There we go. We did it. All right. So now what we're going to do now is we're going to go through and talk about the 4 protocols. The rest of what we're going to do is talk about the 4 protocols. Now, before we do that though, I got a video that I need to show you. Okay. Now, this video is from a sitcom back in the, I don't know. Ed, you're probably gonna have to tell me what year it was.
Showed up on
Mom
screen.
Pa Kettle. What year? When was that?
1940s.
Couldn't have been
Marjorie
40s.
Main,
We didn't have
Percy
TV in the 40s.
Kilbride. You want the rest of the?
There was no TV in the 40s, was there?
movies. There's movie houses.
Oh
Mom,
my
Pa Kettle,
goodness.
sure.
Oh, okay. Well,
You know where it came from? The movie The Egg and I, which
I'm
was.
sorry I asked.
Here we go.
Go on, throw me another one.
No,
Throw me out.
I should have known.
I'm
All
afraid.
right, so let me get
I
this
believe.
dragged over here and pulled up. Okay,
That's
so
a lot of things.
what I'm gonna show you now is a skit from Mom Pa Kettle here, okay? But I gotta get the sound up because it's not very,
You want me to do the speech, the words for that?
no,
Okay.
it's all good. They might want you to.
Yo no tengo vida.
All right, here we go.
percentage. I figure 75% to you, Bon Bon, and 25% divided between the 5 of us. Gida, Crowbar, myself, Tom, and the baby. That makes 5% for each one of us.
Billy, you're cheating yourself. If there's 25% divided among the 5 of you, that's 14% apiece.
Oh, no, listen, Bob. I wouldn't cheat you. You know I wouldn't. Now, look here. I'll show you. Let me rub this out here. Now, 25 divided by 5 is 5. You see, the 5 won't go into 2, will it? No. But 5 goes into 25 5 times. You see?
No, you're wrong, Billy. Now, I'm pretty good mathematician. Now, 5 into 25, 5 won't go into 2.
No.
But 5 goes into 5 once. Now, we didn't use the 2 before, so it goes down here. Now, 5 into 20 goes 4 times. There you are. 5 into 25, 14.
No, look, Bob. Now, let me prove it to you. Now, by multiplication. 5 times 5. 5 times 5 is 25.
I'm surprised you're learning.
Huh?
I'm surprised that you're learning. Now I'll show you. 5 times 14 is 25. 5 times 4 is 20. 5 times 1 is 5. 25. That's it.
No, look, Bob. Look, you're wrong there because I'll prove it to you. We'll put down 5 14s here. 14. There, now I'll prove to you by addition that 5 14s is not 25. 4, 8, 12, 16, 20,
21, 22, 23, 24, 25. Hey,
That's an old habit of
I
someone.
want to see you boys cheated.
All right, now, so here's, you're probably asking yourself, okay, what does that have to do with anything? But here's what it has to do with it. Is I said to you, the management of your sphere of influence is a math problem. Now, at one point here in a minute, you're gonna think I'm doing Mom Pa Kettle math, and I'll show you what it looks like, but it's not difficult, okay? I just want to show you though, and remember, part of where I'm going to go right now is back to this. Remember we talked about back here, this is the way most people go about approaching working their sphere of influence. Well, the other thing that happens actually, let me go back to this. We did a study. I think I did share this with you guys. Part of this is we did a study of people who show up at open houses. And do you remember what percentage of the people who came to an open house end up doing real estate or something real estate related within a 6 to 9 month period? 82%. So 82% of the people who show up, which that's why I was saying to you, if it were me, I would work my sphere of influence. So if I'm you, Dylan, like I'd be like, okay, I'm going to do this process. I'm going to set it up, but I'm going to get the people that I'm going to add into it are going to come from open houses because there's an 82% chance they're going to do something real estate related. Now, so I shared that part with you. The part that I didn't share with you though is when you, and actually I showed you the graph from NAR, and I showed you how outside of your SOI, how it drops off dramatically. Well, the reason it drops off so dramatically after that is because of what I'm going to show you next. Is whether you're cold calling, you're door knocking, anything that you're prospecting in just the general public, doing mailers, that kind of stuff, your return on that is going to be 7%. There's a 7% chance that when you knock on somebody's door, there's a 7% chance that they're going to be doing something real estate related. Okay. Now, with that in mind, so let me come back to this. So what happens is this. If I were to just take a map and I were to draw on a map a circle on the map. Now, it would have to be a pretty large circle on a map for this to happen. I mean, for statistically for this to work, what I'm showing you. Meaning you couldn't just take a neighborhood and it's going to break down this way. But basically what happens is this. If you took a map and you drew a circle on it, there is a 7% chance that the people within that area are going to do something real estate related within the next 6 to 9 months or over the next year. Now, where that comes from actually is this. If you go to the US Census Bureau and you were to look at it, what you'll find on the census is that 12% of the population will move every year. So 12% of the population will move, but that includes renters. So that doesn't necessarily help us out a whole lot. But if you factor out the renters is 7%. That's where this comes from. So where this comes from is out of the census, where 12% of the population is in the process of buying or selling at any given moment. Okay. Now, so you take 7% of that. Now, here's the thing. One of the things that I was told, and where part of what we're doing here, remember, let me pause for a second. We're going to work on these 4 protocols. So we're working on protocol number 1 right now. I just haven't told you what it is yet. And the reason is because I got to set all this up, then I'll tell you what it is. Most of the time, you are going to be told something like this. And so you guys, most of you guys have been licensed for a while. So tell me if you've heard it. If you talk to 100 people, you should get 10 leads, and from those 10 leads should turn into 1 transaction. Have you guys heard that before? Okay. Where that comes from is this.
What'd you say?
What did I say? Did you say what did I say?
For what?
Oh, are you asking a question or you're just not muted? Okay. All right. I thought she was asking. I thought she said, what did you say?
They're getting locked out and coming back in.
No.
We got a nice list. You got an audience. You better bring it.
He like rolled his eyes over, like really.
There's 2 people on. No, we just there's more than that. Okay. So typically what managers will say is, and my manager when I was new told me this is where I heard it the first time. Yeah, this is nothing to sneeze at. This is nothing to sneeze at. So what they will say is if you'll talk to 100 people, you should get 10 leads. From those 10 leads should turn into a transaction. That's a pretty commonly said thing. Where that comes from is this. It comes from the idea that 7% of the population is in the process of buying or selling at any given time. Now, if that's true, we're going to do mom and pop kettle math, okay? If that's true, out of 100 people and 7% are going to do something, how many transactions does that equate to?
7.
No. Remember I said mom and pop kettle math. The answer to mom and pop kettle is always what? 14. There's 14 transactions. Now why? Why is it 14, not 7?
Great.
That's right. Because every time a home sells, there's a buyer side and a seller side, which represents 14 potential commissions being paid. Okay, so that's why I said transactions, not houses. If I said houses, it would be 7. But transactions, 14. Essentially what they did is it just sounds better to say 10 or 110 1 than 114 1 or whatever. So I think that's my belief of where that came from, is all of that. Okay. Now, this doesn't sound too bad though. The reason they say that people say that, if you go talk to 100 people, you should get 10 leads and it should turn into a transaction. The reason they say that is to, again, it's to get you out and start prospecting. Because what it shows though is a lack of understanding of how odds work, okay? Now, so what we're talking about, we're gonna talk about 2 things here. So far, and this part isn't important for your notes, but what we've been talking about this is an open system. This is how an open system works, okay? Now, let me take it another step for you and show you what I mean. This is an open system. This is how an open system works. And by the way, this is how Las Vegas works. The reason Las Vegas works, well, in fact, and I've always said this, but we now have proof of it. What happened in Vegas during COVID? Well, it kept going, but like
Less people, a lot less people.
Yeah, like, and I don't know details, but I bet they weren't making money. And the reason they weren't making money is because of what we're going to talk about right now. In an open system, the reason Vegas works is they understand odds. They understand the odds. Somebody, I think, just typed a chat. Is that something relevant to? Oh, I just.
He's
something
also
popped up.
getting messages, so like.
Yeah, it looked, oh, it might have been a text.
Yeah.
Your wife said, hurry home.
Jokes are getting better though.
Are they? Once you told me I got people online. But no. So, what in Vegas, they understand odds. And because the odds, what they understand is the odds are in their favor. And so as long as people show up and put money on the table or in the machine, Vegas wins. They don't, like, in fact, they love it when somebody hits a jackpot because it just means more money is going to go into the machines. See, that's what, so we're going to have a brief discussion now on odds though. So, because this is an open system. In an open system, when we prospect out in this, we're prospecting in an open system. So those statistics, the numbers that I showed you up there of how outside of your SOI they were so low, it's because you're working in an open system. In an open system, this is what it looks like. What are the odds of me? So, well, first pick a number between 1 and 6. I one time taught this class and said pick a number and somebody said 7. So like I have to clarify that. Between 1 and 6.
6.
Okay, 6. All right. What are the odds then if I roll this that I'm going to get a 6? You guys are like too scared to answer now because you don't want to be wrong. 1 out of 6, right? Okay. So let's see what happens. Let's see if that's what really plays out. So somebody keep track of how many times I roll it. Yes, I love when that happens. Somebody keep track of how many times I have to roll it to get a 6, because the odds are 1 out of 6. So let's see what happens. Okay. So I probably should have said who's going to keep track.
I got it.
Okay, I was going to say somebody's doing it, right?
Come on.
Because I'm not. Tell me when I get to 5.
You hit 1 quite a few times.
I don't know.
This is your 5th roll.
Oh, okay.
Got it.
Got it. Okay. So now let's start again and see what happens this time. So you started over, right?
Correct.
This is how I get my squats in.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, 4?
4.
All right. Come on, cooperate. One more time. Let's see what happens. All right, so I've rolled it 5 times. What should happen this time?
Did it.
Perfect.
Oh, so close. All right, how many times do I have to do that?
9.
All right, so in theory, I should get it 1 out of every 6 times. And so far today, that's cooperating. But what Yvette was talking about is, I don't remember what the number was. Do you?
It wasn't a 3. I almost said 3 though. I was like, I think it was a lower number. It was 3.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but either way,
And
the
then-
odds are the
and then we
same.
joked
No, I
that
know,
we
but-
thought it was weighted.
Oh yeah, we were like, you just couldn't get
I
it.
couldn't get it, and I think I rolled it like 30 times, and it still had not come up.
We were just
See,
giggling.
that's the problem with an open system. In an open system, the number of times you do it doesn't matter. Do we need to take a break? Everybody seems to be.
Sorry.
No. I'm not worried about standing up. It's the people walking out.
Darrow, you lost.
I know. I'm like, all right.
No, no,
You're
keep going.
gambling.
Keep going, no, keep going with
Okay.
this.
Gambling,
This is
we're
good.
out.
Do what?
You're gambling, we're out.
Yeah, I know. That's right. Everybody's like, I'm out of here. So in an open system, does it matter how many times I roll this to get a 6? Meaning, in an open system, the odds don't change based on the number of times you do it.
Gotcha.
So, okay, so what are the odds that I'm gonna get a 6 when I roll it right now? 1 out of, right? So I go up. And, okay, now what are the odds? 1 out of 6, right? That's how an open system works, okay? Now, with that in mind, the way we typically look at this is if I went out prospecting and I talked to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, what should happen when I get to Laura?
Yes, she's buying a house with
She
you.
should say yes to it. But is that what actually happens?
Nope.
Laura says no.
No, and here's why. Is because what that shows is a lack of our understanding of odds. Because actually, what this truly means is this. What this truly means is the same as this. What that looks like is this. What are the odds when I knock on Dylan's door that he's, based on this, what are the odds that he's gonna say yes? Or no, either one, but what are the odds?
7 out of 100.
I'm gonna say 1. 60. So yes.
So, okay, it's gonna be 1 out of 10, or think of it this way, the odds are 9 to 1. Okay, so if it's 1 out of 10, the odds now would be 9 to 1.
9 wrong.
So what, yeah, and I was gonna say, but let's clarify, 9 what?
9 wrongs. Or
9
9
9 no's.
Yeah.
So there is a 90% better chance that he's gonna say no than that he's gonna say yes.
It's like when you door knock, they said they're not gonna say yes.
Yeah, that's why when I went door knocking that first time, the guy said they're not gonna say yes. There is a 90% chance he's gonna say no. Okay, that's fine. We understand that. Here's where most people get lost. Now what are they? Yeah, see, the truth is they're the same. But when we hear this, we tend to think, oh, well,
There's gonna be 1.
yeah, that
It's 8 and
but now it's 8.
yeah.
Now it's 7. Now it's 6. Now it's 5. Now it's 4. Now it's 3. Now it's 2. Now it's 1. That's what we think is going to happen, but that's not what happens. What happens in an open system is the odds don't get better based on the number of times that you do it. But here's the problem. Remember I told you guys on day 1 the story of me going out and my manager told me that if you talk to 50 people a day, you'll do 50 transactions a year. And then I went back and I was like, I was doing 50 a day and I only got 17 transactions. What's going on? Why am I not making it? And Most managers, do you know what their answer is? And you know what my manager's answer was? What do you think the most people would tell you to do?
17's really good.
Not at $2,000.
No, I know, but I
If
know
at
what you're
15, my baby,
Yeah.
$15,000, yeah, but at 2,000, which is what I was getting at the time, that wasn't really good.
You need a door knock. You do need to do more, up your numbers.
That's usually what the answer is. The answer, so here's the problem. Okay, I want the 6 to come up more often. Okay, well, you just need to do more. Okay. But
Oh. These numbers.
Not-
Now you're
not
right.
listening to you guys choosing 6 ever again.
Do it again.
But the problem is okay, here's the problem though. So let's say, okay, could that work? Yes. But I was doing 50 contacts a day to get 17 transactions. Well, I wanted to do 50 transactions. Okay, well then you just got to do more door knocking. Okay, so instead of doing 4 to 5 hours, I've got to do what? 14 to 16 hours a day of door knocking? Who's going to do that? Who's up for it? Yeah, I'm not either. So that's the problem with it is what we can't say, but in an open system, that's the answer. You just got to do it more. You just got to do more. And I got a 6 in there. Okay, that's an open system. So the first protocol of working your sphere of influence is, number 1, it has to be a closed system. Right? So now, what does that mean? So let me show you what that means, okay? We're gonna do the same thing, only this time, I've got these little dots here that I'm gonna use.
What's it called?
What's it
Oh,
called?
the die, you're using the die again?
Yeah,
Okay.
but I've got some dots that I'm gonna put on. So we're changing the rules here. So we're going from, this is going from an open system to a closed system. Do not try to go do this in Vegas. You'll end up dead, okay? Don't try to do
Put
this.
dots on the dice.
Yeah. Don't try to go play craps and be like, hey, no, if you put a dot on it, then. So this is what a closed system looks like. So now, Nicole's gonna keep track again, but this time we're changing the rules. And we're changing it from an open system to a closed system, and this is how. Is if I roll a number and it's not a 6, then I'm gonna put one of these dots on. If after that I roll it and the dot shows up, I get a free throw. That's the rules of the game. It doesn't count, so she won't count it as a roll. I get a free throw. So I'm gonna do that. Let's see how many times now I have to roll it to get a 6. And please don't come up 6 first try. All right. Okay, so it was a 2, so I rolled it 1 time, but now I'm putting a yellow sticker on here. So if that shows up again, she's not gonna count it as a roll. I get a free throw. That's the rule of the game. I get a free throw. Okay, so now there's a 3. Okay, free throw. Doesn't count. So how many times have I rolled it?
4 times.
Nope,
No, 2.
2. Only rolled it twice. Okay, 1, 6. So how many times do I have to roll it?
3.
3. Okay, now let's do it again and see how many times. Free throw, doesn't count. There's a 5. 4. So I've still only rolled it how many times?
2.
Okay, only 2 times. You thought I was joking when I said I get my squats. All right, so now everything's covered but the 6. So what's gonna happen?
Yeah.
Keep rolling till you get a 6.
So it's gonna, the most it's gonna take me is how many times? 1 time.
How many do you have?
Yeah, but how? Oh, 5. 2. No,
Oh, 2. 3,
No, it's
3,
gonna be
3.
it will be 3. Right?
Again.
3.
Oh, where was this the first time? This is what it needed to be doing for me.
I think this is what happened. though,
Yeah,
last
this is
night.
backwards.
Yeah.
What it usually does.
And to show you that with luck.
All right, you
open
try it,
system
Dylan. Let's see
works.
if Dylan's got the roll, the touch. Nope. Yeah, see where this, okay, there we go. All right, so now what's gonna happen though? If I do it again, what's gonna happen?
You're just.
How many times am I gonna have to roll it to get a 6 this time? Once, right? From now on, it's gonna be 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. You wanna do real estate that way?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna show you how. This is how you do it. The first thing you have to do is you have to make it a closed system. Now, the other thing to point out to you, remember I told you back here on this that at first it's gonna feel like nothing's happening. Part of that why is because in the process of this closed system, we gotta start getting the dots on the dice. So just like you saw with me there, I was gonna have to kind of keep doing it. But the good news is once you get it built up, and that's why I was saying it's think of this threshold of what it's gonna take, okay? So it's a closed system. Well, what does that mean? I'm out of breath from all my squats there. Here's what it means. Your database, your SOI, has to be a closed system. What that means is it has to be fixed in size.
Fixed in size?
Fixed in size. Now, that's the protocol. But what I'm going to tell you is the number you should use. Is it unmuted again? I've muted it. Okay. What I'm going to tell you is the number you should use, though, in terms of this fixed in size, should be, to begin with, 200. Now, the protocol is fixed in size. So there's no magic in the number of 200. The only reason I'm telling you 200 is because what I know by using the number 200 is in 200, you can get it ramped up in 6 to 9 months. If you were to do less than 200, it's going to take you longer than 6 to 9 months. If you do more than 200, it's going to take longer because you won't actually do it. So I just found 200 is the best number. Now, once you get to this point here, which I would define this point here as what I define as it's mature, because what you should be able to get from this database is instead of this 7% number, we can get a 60% return on our database. If you'll do it the way that I'm going to show you how to do it, you can count on getting a 60% return. And when I say that, what I mean is that from your database, you should be getting referrals, leads from 60% of the people. And if you're not, then I'll show you what you're going to do to fix that. But to begin with, it might not be at 60%. And so this is what I was talking about when Ken said, so, and I don't know if you've tracked it, Ken, but if his database, if he was able to plan on and get, well, how many transactions do you usually do a year-ish? Okay, so 40, 50, and how many of those come off of your SOI?
Typically, it's about 70%.
Okay, good. So see what all that's happening is this is lining up exactly what I like. He's just proving what I'm telling you guys anyway. But if he lost 30% of his database, though, the number of transactions might dip while he builds it back up again. So that's kind of the same thing we're saying that I'm saying with this is to begin with, you're going to be ramping it up. Yours might be like this where you're not going to get many deals from them for the first few months, but then after that, all of a sudden it should take off. Okay, so that's what's going to happen. So the reason,
like 25 to 27 that's the difference.
Yeah,
It is a huge hit.
Yeah, and it's because the people. That's just it. Is once they, but that's okay. I mean, it's not okay, but it has to be okay.
Part of it also, in all fairness to, I mean, not to interrupt with that, but it doesn't really go with your theory, but with the shortage of inventory, it impacted a lot of the ability to make it.
For sure.
So, the sales could have been there.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so closed system is protocol number 1. So instead of, like I said, I hear these top agents a lot of times bragging about I got 4,000 or 5,000 people. They are not getting a 10% return off of that. Yet I'm telling you, if you'll do this the way I'm telling you, you can count on getting a 60% return off of this, okay? Now, I'll explain what that looks like and we'll get into more of the detail of it. But to begin with, just recognize and know that the first protocol is it's fixed in size and it needs to be 200 people, okay? So now how do we get it to that? So now that's the next thing I want to show you. So how does this manage and how does this play out and what does that look like, okay? So think of it this way. Let me show you how to do this. Let's say, now keep in mind, protocol number 1 is fixed in size, right? So I'm gonna just show you now. Let's just say though, for the time being right now, that I have 100 people in my database, okay? Because now, what I'm not doing is giving you permission to go, oh, well, I'm just gonna do 100 then instead of 200. You can do that. You just know it's gonna take longer than the 6 to 9 months for this to play out. And if you'll do the 200, it'll play out this way, okay? Now, let's say of the 100 people that I have in my database, and I'll explain this, but let's say that 50 of them are red and 50 of them are green, okay? So 50 are red, 50 are green. Now, the definition of a red or a green for me is, green is gonna be somebody who will either do business with you or refer business to you. So they're either gonna do business with you or refer business with you to you. A red is somebody who's not gonna do business with you and they're not gonna refer to you. Now, why would that be? Why would we have people who tell us that they're gonna refer to us and then not refer to us?
Wait, say that again, Russ. The 50, the red, what's the red? 50?
Yeah, so green is people who are gonna either do business or refer with you. Red are people that are not going to. So they're not gonna do business with you, they're not gonna refer to you. And so you might be thinking, well, why would I even ever have any red? And the reason you're gonna have red in your system is because of this. So I'm gonna show you something. So earlier today, Ed asked me for a card and then I said, oh, I think you just reminded me of something that I was gonna do and I didn't do it.
That's good.
So we're gonna do it. Okay. So I'm gonna go out prospecting. Now. Well, I'll explain this. All right. Hi, my name is Russ. I'm with C21. Will you do me a favor? Sure. Would you hold on to my business card? If you hear of anybody thinking of buying or selling real estate anywhere, give me a call. Yeah, not a problem. Hi.
Hi.
My name's Russ. Do you remember this? Okay, I'm gonna skip. Do you remember this?
Vaguely.
Then I'll skip it. If you do remember, don't run. Okay, my name's Russ. Will you do me a favor?
Yeah.
Would you hold on to my card? And if you hear of anybody thinking of buying or selling real estate anywhere, have them give me a call. You'll do your best. Good enough. Hey, my name's Russ. I'm with C21. Will you do me a favor? Would you hold on to my card? And if you hear of anybody thinking of buying or selling real estate anywhere, have them give me a call. Sure. Hi, I'm Russ with C21. Will you do me a favor? Will you hold on to my card? And if you hear of anybody thinking of buying or selling real estate anywhere, have them call me. Fish in a barrel, baby. Hi, my name's Russ. I'm with C21. Will you do me a favor? Possible. Okay, would you just hold on to my card? And if you hear of anybody thinking of buying or selling real estate anywhere, call me and let me help you.
So many contacts.
Do you remember this? If you do remember, they don't know because they can't remember. Oh, you
You don't know.
Okay. My name's Russ. Will you do me a favor? Would you hold on to my card? If you hear of anybody thinking of buying or selling real estate anywhere, have them call me. I'm a realtor. Oh, okay. Now you know why I skipped you. I thought. Hi, my name's Russ. Will you do me a favor? Would you hold on to my card? And if you hear of anybody thinking of buying or selling real estate anywhere, have them give me a call. I already gave you one, so.
The answer is yes.
You would, okay, awesome. Do you remember this, Frank? Okay. My name's Russ. Will you do me a favor? Would you hold on to my card? And if you hear of anybody thinking of buying or selling real estate anywhere, have them call me?
Sure.
You would? Okay. Juana? My name's Russ. I'm getting a little excited. Would you do me a favor?
Yes.
Would you hold on to my card? And if you hear of anybody thinking of buying or selling real estate anywhere, have them call me? Awesome. Do you remember this?
Can I say no?
My name's Russ. I'm with C21. Will you do me a favor?
No.
Okay. Hi, my name's Russ. I'm with C21. Will Would you do me a favor?
Sure.
Would you hold on to my card? Hey, you can't leave. I'm just kidding. Would you do me a favor?
Sure.
Would you hold on to my card? And if you hear of anybody thinking of buying or selling real estate anywhere, have them call me.
Sure.
Real estate's so easy. I don't know what people think of. So, okay. For real. If you hear of somebody thinking of buying or selling real estate, you can have them call me. For real.
If I remember.
If you remember. Good enough. Okay. For real. Why? Okay, but if you got to know me, would you? And you liked me?
If I like.
Okay, that's good. So you would. Okay. For real. If you hear of somebody thinking of buying or selling, you gonna call me?
Probably not,
Why?
because I sell real estate.
Why didn't you tell me that before?
I did not.
I did ask you if you heard of somebody thinking of buying or selling real estate anywhere, if you called me, and you said yes.
I lied to you.
Okay. Why did you lie?
To get you to just go away.
Oh, okay. I'll go away now. For real. If you hear of somebody thinking of buying or selling real estate, you can have them call me? Why?
Because I don't know anything about you.
Okay, but if you got to know me?
If I got to know you and you seem incredible.
Okay, cool, I'll be back.
I'll be back. I'm back.
For real. If you hear of somebody thinking of buying or selling real estate, you can have them call me?
Probably.
Why?
Out of sight, out of mind.
Okay, but if I keep coming back like this?
But possible.
Okay, good. For real. If you hear of somebody thinking of buying or selling?
Sure, why not?
You would? Okay, cool.
The answer is yes.
Okay. For real. Possible. Okay, what would have to happen for it?
Until I know you better.
Okay, so if you get to know me better. Okay, good. All right. For real. If you hear of somebody thinking of buying or selling, you gonna call me? Let me help them? Why?
Because I don't know you.
But if you got to know me,
Um,
and I'm a nice guy and I did a good job, stayed in touch.
maybe.
Maybe. Okay, good. Okay. Hey, for real. For real. If you hear of somebody thinking of buying or selling, you know, call me. For real.
Possible.
Possible. Okay. For real.
I see.
At some point, you're just gonna annoy me.
Okay.
And I'm not gonna wanna deal with you.
Okay, but if I didn't annoy you, would you? For real. Okay. For real. For real.
I don't know if I don't.
But I-
What?
Yeah.
I tend to not be home or something.
Look at your rate.
Well, then
I'm
why?
gonna get, because it's just too much, too intense. It's hard to say no to people's faces.
Oh, okay. So for real. For real. For real.
What I
Yes. For real.
probably ask them.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll be back to you. For
Real.
real. For real. Hold on, wait, hang on, listen. Hang on, what?
Forgot about my budget. Probably.
You probably won't because of kids. For real. For real. Okay, I'll be back. For real.
Tell me what. Why
That's
should
what
I-
I just said. That's what I said.
Well, why would you not?
It's not really consent.
Because I do a good job for my clients. I can give you some referrals if you want, that kind of stuff. But for real, if you hear of somebody, would you be willing to at least give me a shot? For
I
real.
can put you on the list.
For real.
Yeah.
Okay. For real.
I would, as I said, took your card. I do have some other friends, but I would give you the call too.
Okay. For real.
For real.
Okay. Frank, for real.
I will, when I know you better,
Ugh.
I may.
All right. Candace, for real. For real. You hear somebody thinking of buying or selling, you're gonna call me. Why? Why?
You probably got rid of your card.
Here's another.
Take them all.
For real. For real.
Probably not.
Why?
Because I still don't know you. I don't
Okay,
know.
well, I'll come back.
Oh my God. You should know me by now.
Yeah, come on. For real. If somebody walks in the door today and says, I need to buy or sell real estate, you're gonna let me help. For real. For real.
Hey.
Okay.
No, you're not licensed in California, so I'm not gonna let you help. It is illegal.
Okay, what if,
Just say you will.
okay, but I can refer it out. Yeah, I'll refer it to Nicole.
I
So,
would let you do that because
okay.
she pays me.
So, but for real, if you hear of somebody, you're gonna call me.
Probably not,
Why?
because I'm not gonna be thinking about
Okay,
you.
I'll come back. Wait, for real. For real.
If, yeah, you prove to be all these things you
Okay.
say you are, yeah.
He's on whatever.
Yes.
For real.
Still thinking about what
No, for real.
Yeah, you got
Okay.
one of it there.
Okay, for real.
What are you gonna do for me?
I'm gonna give you excellent service. I'm gonna help you out, and I could pay you a little bit of money. In California law, can I pay, if she asks, can I pay her?
No.
You can't,
It can't be
pay
for a
closing
solicitor,
costs.
so I could give you, I can give you a few
A
$100 bucks.
referral, right? Or not referral,
I'll
but.
think of you if you don't come by and pop by ever.
All right, yeah, for real. For real.
For real, I'd still give you a call.
Okay.
I would say no.
Why?
Because you stuff by too many times.
No, no, that's not why. For real. Tell me
I
why.
feel like a bit of pressure.
Okay. Yes, for real. For real. For real. For real.
So probably not.
Why? Okay, why?
Same reasons.
So if somebody walked in the door and you knew me, liked me, and said, I want to sell my house, would you let me
If
know?
I knew you and I liked you and I can trust that you would do right by them, then yes.
For real. Okay, I'll be back. For real. You want to give somebody a hint?
No.
For real. Okay, I'm hoping I just did that. For real. For real. For real. If you hear somebody thinking of buying or selling, you can let me help. For real. For real. For real.
Not sure.
Okay, I'll be back.
No, because you just pissed me off at this point. I don't like it.
For real. For real. Why are you not? For real.
Because you
All right, I'll be back.
actively made me hate you.
For real. Okay, hang on. I think Wendy might get it. For real.
I don't know. I don't.
Oh, okay. I thought maybe you told her.
No, we're.
Okay, for real.
I have no idea.
For real. You hear something.
Figure it out.
If somebody walks into the office today and says, I want to sell my house. Which office are you in?
Russ wants you.
Okay, you're at Wood Branch. Somebody walks in and says, I need to sell my house. You can go, hold on, let me call Russ. For real, sure. Okay.
Say
Okay. Maybe it's like try it out, but it's not working, but that's
Maybe
okay.
it's just give us-
It's kind of
Yeah.
fun when it doesn't work. So no, you gotta figure it out on your own. For real.
I feel like that you're trying,
Yes, yes,
For real?
yes. I should have said that. I should have said that. For real.
No,
Okay, why?
because.
Why?
No, I have no idea why the for real part.
Yeah, for real. If you hear
For
somebody
real?
thinking of buying or selling real estate, and you're gonna call me and let me help them. For real.
Is it a trick question? I'm.
No, it's not a trick question. For real,
For real.
if
You
you,
sound like my kids.
Ask me a question.
I'll come back. I'll sleep.
For real, the
Yes.
answer is yes.
Guess what?
I will give you a
Oh,
call.
okay.
I'm no longer home, so don't come by.
She's mad.
I know, we didn't ever take a break.
She really, well, I
For
was
real.
just wanting it to end and it won't.
I have your card. You don't have to come back. Again, yeah.
All right, I'll be back. For real.
Brandon, give me a hint.
I wish I did. I didn't say this.
I have the same answer.
Well, who am I not bothering? There's your hint.
Oh
Who
my
am I
God,
bothering?
you're not going,
For real.
you're not bothering.
People
Your
that-
actual
I haven't
client,
talked to
your
Brandon.
actual-
I haven't talked to Anissa. I'm not talking to
Oh,
Ken.
people that say no.
I didn't talk to Laura. I'm skipping them.
People that.
Just say no.
Say no?
Yeah.
For real.
Skip that.
If I, for real, if you
Oh, the
learned-
red, the people that say no.
Oh.
The people are that you're
You're
skipping.
starting to
not
put some
bothering.
dots
No.
together.
Yeah,
You're getting
yeah,
there. You're getting there. You're getting closer.
yeah.
If you hear of somebody,
Yeah.
somebody says today, you're out at lunch and somebody goes, I think I want to sell my house. So you're gonna go, oh, you should call Russ. Here's his card. I got 2 of them. Are you gonna do that? For real?
No.
Why?
For the same reasons that I told you.
Okay, but I'll be back.
Oh my God.
I'm just
Somebody's
looking for the
gotta
truth,
get it.
guys. All I want's the truth. For real. Somebody says to you, I need to sell my house. You're gonna say, call Russ. For real.
No.
Why?
Because I just got into the business.
Thank you. Now,
Oh.
why did you like to?
It wasn't like, I just got it like yesterday.
I don't think that's.
It's the white line.
Why did you like it?
Cause I didn't know you.
Oh, okay.
You don't want to hurt us. Got it.
Yeah, because my feelings aren't hurt now. But you like to. Okay. Wait, for real.
No,
Why?
no.
Why?
Because I'm an agent.
Oh, okay. So why did you like it?
I didn't want to hurt you.
Oh, yeah. My feelings aren't hurt anymore. Like,
It was
now that you like
awkward.
it.
It was an awkward.
okay, good. Keep that in mind, all
Are you
this
still
stuff.
going? Because I
I'll come back to you.
leave.
I'm gonna see if you can figure it out like everybody else. For real. Why? Okay, so why did you like it?
I want to hear your pitch.
Oh, okay. Okay, for real. For real.
No,
Why?
sorry, I don't have a house. I don't need a realtor.
Okay, but if you did.
No, I don't believe home ownership is the right. I'm an approval junkie,
For
so
real.
I'm not.
For real.
No, thank you.
Okay. I'll come back. For real.
For real, the answer is no, but I would be happy to refer you if I had someone in Utah.
Well, that's not what I said.
All right?
So why did you lie to?
I didn't lie, I just omitted some of the facts.
Okay. For real.
Still the same thing. I have your car.
Okay, but
You don't have to come back.
I will call you. You will call me if you hear it. You'll call me.
Don't call me.
Okay, I'll be back. All right, Candace, for real.
Just listen and sign up.
For real. For real. If you hear somebody today at lunch wants to buy or sell, you can refer them to me.
No,
For real.
no, because I'm an agent.
So, okay. Now, why did you lie to?
I'm not good at role playing and I wasn't getting where everything was going.
Oh, okay. All right. So you thought we were role playing.
Yeah.
So you know what I should do next time? I should say for real. That way people know we're not role playing, right? I should say for real.
You said for a little.
You've said it like probably 10,000
I know, that's my thing. All right, for real. Why?
I don't really want to.
Why?
I mean, really, we've talked about this, Russ.
Okay, but tell me, I want the truth. Why? Why?
Because I'm not gonna think about you if I'm not thinking about real estate all the time, ever.
Okay.
So I'm not, no,
I might know the
never,
problem.
ever, don't come back here.
I'll be back.
No.
No, the answer is
Why?
no.
Why?
Leave.
Why? Why?
Because I said so.
Okay, I'll be back.
That's a good. That's the mom answer.
For real.
Okay, no,
Why? Why? Thank you. Thank you. Why?
just love you too much. It's like if somebody keep calling me, I mean, keep knocking my door, it's kind of hard.
Pay attention to the people I'm not talking to anymore and why. For real. Why? Because why? Yeah, listen to Nicole.
Because I'm a realtor.
Oh, so you lied to me.
Absolutely.
Why?
Because I need more business and I'm trying to see what works.
Okay, so you
And
thought
you
we
don't
were
work.
you thought we were role playing. You thought we were role playing and you were gonna learn from my role play. Okay, for real.
No.
Why?
I'm a realtor.
Oh.
For a long time. I've been lying to you.
Okay, why? Why have you been lying?
Because I'm lonely. Right
Okay. All right. For real.
Okay, I'm agent too.
You're an agent too, so why did you lie to me? Okay.
Try to be polite.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was great. I appreciate that. That's really polite. Lying makes me feel so much better. Okay, now, let me
You
explain.
lost everyone on Zoom during that.
Did they? Did
No,
they all
I'm just
leave?
messing with you.
I'm surprised you still have 9 on here.
Oh, all
You're
right.
like those idiots
Now,
in the classroom.
So now let's back up. Why did I just do that? What?
To annoy us.
To annoy you?
To make us
No,
uncomfortable.
here's why I did that was this. I just had told you guys, out of the people that you have in this fixed database, 50 of them are green. They're gonna refer business and do business with you. 50 are red in this case. I'm not saying that's what's gonna happen in real life, but 50 are red. And remember I said to you, why would you ever hold on to the red? You guys just proved why I would hold on to why people end up holding on to the red. People lie. And For the exact reasons you guys just told me. Why? What were the reasons you guys told me yes? Because how many times did I say for real? Like I was trying to get the message across. We're not role playing. Like for real, if you hear something, you're gonna call me. And you guys are like, well, if I got to know you, I might. When that's not true, right? You aren't going to.
I would call you for
Unless you knew somebody in Utah, then you might. But so now give me the reasons. Why did you like me? You thought we were role playing. Guess what some of these people think you're doing? Yeah, you pretend you're an agent, I'll pretend I get to know people. And yeah, you got all refer people to you. Okay, why else did you like? What were the other reasons you guys liked? Didn't want to hurt my feelings. Guess what? Most of these people that are red in here are going to be in there still. Because why? They don't want to hurt your feelings and tell you, I'm never going to refer you out to anybody. So the whole purpose of that little demonstration was to show you how hard it is to get people to tell the truth. It's easy to get people to lie. It is easy to get people to lie. It's hard to get the truth. What's the show? You can't handle the truth? A Few Good Men or something like that?
Jack Nicholson.
Yeah, is that what it is?
That was the one.
You can't handle the truth. That's why. It's just like, think of it that way. It's like your job in this, part of this process, which we're going to get to over here in a second, is to get people to tell you the truth. Because it is easy to get people to lie. So part of but in order to get the truth, you have to want the truth. You have to make it okay for people. You have to not have your feelings hurt if they don't going to refer people to you. But as long as you are going to, they're going to keep lying to you. So just keep in mind what I'm showing you. The reason I did that whole thing was to prove a point to you is you're going to end up with people in your database that will tell you, yes, I promise, I will refer people to you. And then you'll call them month after month after month after month, and they're never going to refer anybody to you. And it's just because they're not willing to tell you, and or you'll go by and there'll be a for sale sign in front of their house. Not yours.
Not yours.
Not yours. And you'll be like, what the heck? Like they told me they would. Yeah. You just saw how difficult it is to get people to tell the truth. So don't be surprised, but I'm going to show you, the good news is I'm going to show you how to deal with that, okay? So just keep in mind. So what I'm really showing you here is how do we build this? If I've got 100 people, how do I get it to where I'm at 60 or what Ken said, 70% that are going to be referring people to me, where I'm getting the business that way? Well, this is how I'm going to do it. Let's say I've got 100 people in here. First protocol of the system is
Closed system.
Closed system, fixed in size, 200. Now, for the sake of this, fixed in size is 100, just for the sake of this demonstration. And it's just to show you the math. So what are my percentages if that's the case? See, this is why I use 100.
50-50.
Yeah, 50-50, thank you. So the odds, 50% are green, 50% are red. So my database at this point is at 50%, okay? Now, let's say I go do an open house. I meet 10 people. I get 10 leads from that open house. Of those 10, how many should we say are going to end up doing, don't go off my 82%. Just kind of go off of like what your belief was before that of like, if you did an open house, how many of those 10 people that came through that you could capture would end up doing a transaction in the next little while? 6?
3 and 20.
You said killing it up there, huh?
I was gonna say, yeah, I think it's lower. My guess is
Lower than one.
I'm not saying do it the way I teach you. I'm saying do it the way most agents do it. How many?
Yeah.
2?
One.
Let's do 2. Let's just be nice.
For math.
We'll be nice and do 2. Okay. So they end up doing, now, the truth is, you don't know, we don't have a crystal ball. So when you meet somebody, you don't know if they're going to be green or red. But let's just say, hypothetically, we did know. And so we got 2 that were going to be green. So now I have 52 green. The other 8 then are red, right? So now I have 58 red, 52 green. So how many total people do I have?
Oh, I was looking at this. I was, yeah.
No, fuck, never mind.
I know, I'm like, I know, I was like, whoa, okay, I'll keep this really.
No, my head was
simple.
doing something else. My head was, I don't
You're
know
good.
where I was.
You're good. Okay, so I've got 110. Now, somebody with a calculator,
Yeah,
don't trust you
don't
guys
trust
anymore.
with me with that.
Calculate what the percentage is now. If I have 110 and 52 are green, what's the percentage that's now green? Nobody's getting a calculator. Nobody dares to do it. You want me to do it? Yeah, I was gonna say, can you guys all do that in your head?
What,
'Cause I-
52 out of 110?
Yep,
Percent.
47. I don't trust you guys.
Yep, 47.
So I'm not a mathematician.
All right, so now I'm now at 47% red, and this is why we're doing it this way. It makes it very easy to do that. Okay, so what just happened? Yeah, what happened to my percentage?
Went down on your grades.
Yeah, is that a good thing or a bad thing?
Bad thing.
So what I'm showing you now is two things. One is this is the problem with an open system. In an open system, the more people you put in, the more you dilute it. See what because look at what just happened. I went from 50%. So first off, actually, look at this. My workload, the amount of work and effort, money I'm going to put into it went from 100 to 110. So my workload just increased by 10%. But the percentage of people in there went down 3%. So I increased the amount of work I'm going to have to do by 10% to get 3% less. Does that sound like a good thing?
No.
Yeah, it's not. But the good news is we're going to work this as a closed system, and it has to be fixed in size, and our number is 100. So what do I have to do?
Get rid of some peeps.
I got to get rid of 10 people. Should I get rid of 10 green?
No.
Okay, I should only get rid of red. Okay, so let's just say we go over here then and we subtract out 10 red. So now I'm at 48, 52 still here, for a total of, is it just too simple or you guys?
I'm just not gonna do
Is it
that
too,
one.
you're just not gonna do it, okay. So for 100 people, but now what are my percentages at? You don't even have to do a calculator.
56%. 48.
Now look at what happened.
Yeah.
Now look at what happened. My work stayed the same, but my percentage increased by 2%. Okay, so now let's do a bigger number and we do another open house. We get 10 more people come through. This time, let's say it is 6 people. We get 6 that end up being great. Just for whatever reason, it ended up being a really good open house. So now I've got 58 here. 52 here. I've now got 110 again. Do we want to do the math to figure out the percentage? We don't need to, because you already know it's going to be worse. Because now we understand our protocol. So we got to do what? Get rid of
Red.
10 red. So I subtract out 42, or it's not 42, 10 here. To have, speaking of doing bad math. So now I've got 42, 58. We've got the 100 here now. And my percentage now just went up to 58, 42. What's going to happen if I just keep doing that? If I just keep adding people in and getting rid of the ones that aren't referred. See, here's what I'm saying is, along the way, as I was doing that role play thing with you guys, so the first time through might have been a role play. The second time through, I said for real. But what would happen is I would start to notice, okay, if that's not really responding very well, she doesn't seem like she's really going to probably do much. So I'm just going to get rid of her and I'm going to replace her with somebody else. That's kind of how we're doing.
I'm a little confused on how long it takes to realize that they're not a referral. And you're putting them in and then you're deleting at how long is that process taking for you to thin out the herd?
Okay, good. That's a good question. Can you hold it for 1 sec? Because actually, yeah, let's do it. We'll do it right. Okay. Let me just finish one thing on this, or actually even just make sure. Can you see what would happen if I kept doing that?
Yeah.
What's going to happen?
The probabilities.
Yeah, your percentages go up.
Yeah. The more I get rid of the people who aren't doing anything, which we'll talk about, I'm just slowly getting this better and better. Because when I get rid of the people over here, the 10 here, the 4 here, the 10 here, or whatever it was. Yeah, the 10 here and here. When I'm getting rid of them, it just automatically gets better. Because here's why. If they're not referring business to you or doing business with you, anybody you replace them with, it is no worse, but they're probably better than what they were. So the secret to this working is this closed system. So now let's go to Ken's question. So how do I know how do I figure out when to do this? So let me show you what that looks like. But first, let me give you, or part of that, let me give you protocol number 2. Protocol number 2 with these people, and so part of how you're going to figure out who to get rid of and who to keep is you have to have permission from all of them. So protocol number 2 is you have to get permission from every single person that you're going to put in there. Okay? You got to get permission. This is what permission looks like. So I would start with calling through every person in my phone that's not an agent. And I would call through and be saying, hey Dylan, this is Russ. How you doing? Like, now keep in mind, if he's in my phone, we probably know each other somewhere, right? So I call him, hey Dylan, this is Russ. How you doing?
Good, how are you?
Good. Hey, COVID kind of threw me for a loop in terms of my real estate business. And what I mean by that is I totally want to revamp the way I'm doing real estate. Okay. And there's been a slight change in the market. I'm sure you know rates are up, all that kind of stuff. Yeah. I actually want to build my business now primarily to be referral dependent. Okay. So let me ask you, if you had a real estate need or you heard of somebody, who would you call? You call me. Sweet. Okay. Awesome. I'm putting together a select group of people. This is the verbiage you want to use. I'm putting together a select group of people that I'm just going to stay in touch with about real estate. What I'll do is just keep you updated on what's going on in the market in your neighborhood. So thus neighborhood news. Now you're seeing how we connect that. Would that be okay?
Yeah.
And then what I'll do is I'll just touch base with you periodically to see if you have any real estate questions, needs, anything I can help you with.
Sounds perfect.
Awesome. Okay. How's the family? Blah, blah, blah. Chit chat. Okay. Boom. That's it. So the people in your phone, the permission is I'm putting together a select group of people. I'd like to add you to that list. Would that be okay? And then you could give them more detail of what it means is I'm going to put you on this system that will send you out what's going on in the market in your neighborhood. So that's where I would then put them on neighborhood news. So I'm putting together a select group of people, or I have a select group of people that I stay in touch with about real estate. I'd like to add you to that list. Would that be okay?
They're not just saying no to you, or the same as a door knock.
Yeah.
Just trying to tease you.
So that's just it. Is initially I don't. Initially I don't know. But how I'm going to find out then is protocol number 3. Oh, actually, let me do the other piece of permission. The other part of permission. So if that's with somebody I know, if I'm doing an open house, I'm door knocking, whatever. My primary, remember I even said today's all about connecting dots and stuff. I don't remember where I wrote it down. Remember I did the prospecting on 2 parallel tracks somewhere? Remember that? Where that was? Oh, right here. Remember we're prospecting on 2 parallel tracks? My primary objective is what?
Yeah.
Set an appointment. Secondary, if I can't get an appointment, is I want to pick them up as a lead. Okay. Now, so with that, so let's say I'm at the open house. I try to get an appointment and I can't get an appointment. They keep telling me no. I've asked 4 or 5 times, let's say, and they've told me no. Then what I'm going to do is kick into saying, well, I have a select group of people that I stay in touch with about real estate. I'd like to add you to that list. Would that be okay? So it's essentially the same script. I have a select group of people that I stay in touch with about real estate. I'd like to add you to that list. Would that be okay? Yes. Great. What that means is I'm going to send you an email once a month, and then why are you smiling?
I'm just listening.
Oh, okay. I was like, do I have something on my face? Or what? Okay. So I have a select group of people. I'd like to add you to the list. What it means is I'm going to put you, I've got a email that I'll send you once a month. that will show you what's going on either in the market in your neighborhood, if that's what you want, or an area that you're interested in. And then I'm going to set them up on neighborhood news and either do it for the neighborhood they live in or where they want to move to. Okay. Now, so that's permission. Now that I've gotten permission, then, and this is how I'm going to start to find out, okay, is number 3 is I'm going to contact those people one time per month, mail or email or a combination. So you could do, you can set them up on, I would set them up personally. If it were me, I'd get them set up on neighborhood news. Get them set up on neighborhood news and then occasionally maybe mail something.
You just wanted to clarify for neighborhood news, that's from Moxie. That's the Moxie dashboard that you get access to. So all you need is their name, their address. Sometimes you can do it by zip code. So, but if you have their address, you can pull it up around their address.
Yes.
So you want to get their physical address,
Yes.
their name, and their email. You can set them up on neighborhood
And get a
news.
phone number too.
Phone numbers.
Because that's part of this number 3 is you want to contact them one time per month, personal contact as well. So you're going to give them a call personal contact once a month and mail or email. Now, here's the thing. In terms of the mail or email, my recommendation is set them up in Moxie on neighborhood news. But it doesn't matter what you send to them. Just send something. Now, with that being said, I do think it ought to be real estate related because, and Ed was talking to me about this earlier today, but in the, you know, the realtor magazine that we get, there used to be a section, you guys get that, right? From NAR, like feels like, it feels like the Harry Potter thing. Like every time you open your mailbox, there's like another thing in there and you're like, oh my gosh.
I'll read this one day.
Yeah. So they used to put in that magazine this section of like funny things that people would write in that had happened to them. And I was reading it one day and it talked about this lady was writing in of these funny things that happened. And she said, I mail out recipe cards to people. And she said, I got a phone call from one of the people that I send these recipe cards to. And she told me, hey, I love your recipe cards that you send out. And I was like, oh, thank you. And she said, but I wanted to give you my new address because we moved and we want to still get those recipe cards. So you need to be sending something that is real estate related because the problem is that person associated her as the recipe card lady, not the realtor. So when she sold her house, she didn't use her. That's the idea of this is why I say do this. But if you want to occasionally send them something in the mail, I think that's great. In fact, let me give you a really, really good idea of what to do. The other thing you want to do as part of with this database, remember I say to them it's a select group of people. The other thing that I did with my database on this is as part of these calling and talking to them each month was I would call and say, so I'll give you an example of one of the guys that I did. This guy would come spray my lawn for weeds. And he lived in my neighborhood, but he sprayed the lawn for weeds. And I like never had a weed in my lawn. And so I asked him one day, I said, his name was Bill. I said, hey, Bill, I want to recommend you. I've got a database of 200 people. So I was this. I said, I got a database of 200 people. I want to recommend you to those 200 people. What kind of a discount would you give to them? I said, because I love the way my lawn looks. And so I want to recommend you. I want to tell all of them, hey, you should use him because he's going to help your lawn look better. And he said, I'll do the first spraying for free. I'll come spray for free for them. And I said, okay, perfect. So I said, do you have like a coupon for that or do you want me to create one? He said, you create one. So I created one, took it to him, had him approve it. Then I mailed that. So that's when I say mail or email, I mailed that to all the people. You could do that as an email too, but I mailed that to everybody and just said, he does an awesome job. I can't guarantee his work, but I very rarely have a weed in my yard. And I love how green he keeps my grass. You should give him a try.
Your SOI, your solid SOI, whatever, is basically it's going to be your past clientele. Right? You like I separate them by A, B, C, D. As far as like you're saying, that's the guy that did your lawn. The likelihood of someone referring you starts to go down at that level. You ever track that, or place them in an area of percentages?
So doing it this way, I don't. Because for me, I want them all to be A's, basically. But like you said, over time though, what's gonna happen, and with him actually, what happened over time is he never referred anybody to me. See, I was the part of why I went to him is I'm like, he's out spraying people's lawns all the time. Hopefully ends up talking to some of his people. Like even still, one of my neighbors, that was in my first house, where 20 plus years later, one of my neighbors in my current neighborhood, I referred him to all of the people in my cul-de-sac. I quit using him because I started to notice, and he kept saying it was just the weather, it was too hot, is why I kept having weeds. I finally was talking to a friend who told me something different he did, so I switched. But even still today, people that I've referred to him are still using him. But he never once referred anybody to me, so I ended up actually dropping it. And looking back, I probably should have called him and said, hey, Bill, like you come and spray 4 yards in my cul-de-sac that I've referred to you. Like, can you return the favor? Like 20 years, you've never referred anybody to me, but I just dropped it. So I just quit calling. But so I don't, because the idea for me is if they're not going to be an A or a B, what you're talking about, I just drop them. I just move on and go find somebody else. So you could do that, but for me, I'm like, I want to get all A's and B's. I don't want any C's or D's. So I just drop.
I just found the only thing that I found based on my experience that anybody who you've actually done business with has a high probability of referring you business versus the other people.
For sure.
And you're investing your time on what you want to do.
Yep.
I'm not arguing the formula, but it's just.
Yeah, no, and that's what I'd say is you're in a different position than most of these guys. This is how they're going to get to where you're at. Because you're exactly right, what you're saying. Yeah. Okay. Now, so the once a month phone call could be around those type of things. The other thing I want to point out that I recommend doing is I create this as a database of not just about real estate either. So part of my follow-up call would look like this. So I called Dylan. Hey Dylan, this is Russ. How you doing?
Good, how are you?
Good. I just want to make sure that you got that email that I sent, the neighborhood news. Did you get that?
Yeah.
You did. Okay, perfect. And did you have any questions off of it?
Not yet, no.
Okay.
It's pretty straightforward.
Perfect. Any real estate questions? Anything I can help you with?
No, not that I think of.
Okay. Have you heard of anybody thinking of buying or selling?
Well, I've heard about some, but I'm gonna have to double check.
Okay, yeah, double check and then just let me know, or I'll give you a call back and check in with you. So is there anything that I can do to help you that's outside of real estate? Do you need anything that I could go to my database about?
Not currently, but I'll definitely let you know.
Okay, perfect. Now, so that's the other thing that I would do as part of this is I would create it to where, is there anything I can help you outside of real estate with? Now, let me give you an example. And this didn't happen to me, but it happened to an agent that I trained in this that is really good at using this system. And so she was making a phone call to one day, said that, is there anything outside of real estate that I can help you with? And the person said, well, not unless you know a surgeon. And then they said this specific kind of surgeon, some specialty thing. And the agent then said, oh, well, I don't know anybody like that, but I could definitely go to my database and find out what's going on. And the client then said, well, my daughter has this rare disease or something. I don't remember all the details, but that she needed to go see this specialist. And she said, the problem is that there's only one in Utah and he's booked out for so long that we can't even get in. And so the agent said, well, let me go take it to my other 199 people and see. So she then sent out a message to all of the other people and said, hey, I've got somebody in my database that is looking for this type of a surgeon or whatever specialist it was. If you know anybody, let me know. Well, one of the people calls and says, hey, my brother actually, that is exactly what he does, but he's in Pennsylvania. And she said, if I could call him and get them in to see him, but they're going to have to be willing to go to Pennsylvania. She's like, well, let me call and find out. Calls back the client, says, hey, I found that kind of a doctor in Pennsylvania. Are you willing to go there? And she said, of course, I don't care what it's going to cost. We want to get this taken care of. We'll go do it. Okay, connects them. Now, let me ask you, if you did that for these people in the database, are they going to list their house with somebody else? When you show up and tell them you charge a 7% commission, are they gonna care? Like, that's what you want to look at this as. I'm going to use this as a way to network. Use it as a real network to where, is there anything else I can help you outside of it? And if they say yes, then go to the database and go, I need somebody that can do this or that.
And if I just add to that?
Sure.
real quick?
Yeah.
In terms of the network.
No, I said, yes, I might. No.
So no, just one of my best referral sources is a guy that cleans either my property or multiple properties, people that I do business with. You should definitely be getting to know them, take them out to lunch, spend some time with them, and ask them exactly what Russ is saying. How can I help you out? And they're going to be hurting, especially through the economy and things that are happening. You need to be their biggest advocate on social media. It means the world to them. And then when they're thinking about doing something, because a lot of people think, oh, well, they're house cleaners, she probably makes okay money, but I don't know if she'll be able to qualify or do something. None of that matters. You just help people out. And she'll put your name out there. She'll be your biggest raving fan, and that's what you're trying to do.
Yeah, especially if they clean houses, there's a pretty good chance that the person says, hey, just so you know, we're probably going to be moving in a few months. Oh, well, you got to call Brandon.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's just thinking kind of in terms of, instead of one person reach, think of people who are in a lot of different properties. Somebody who does lawns, somebody who, all the different services that you're already spending money and doing.
My best one,
taking care of those people.
my best one was the lady that cut my hair.
Really?
Yeah. She, man, every time I went to get my hair cut, she'd be like, you need to call this person, you need to call this person. I was always like, oh. And then her husband, who was my best friend growing up, then got transferred to Idaho. And then it's kind of the same thing you went through. It was like, well, there goes 5 or 6 deals every year.
The reason for your haircut thing is that hairdressers tell their entire life story.
Exactly.
It's common.
Yeah.
Hairdressers are number one.
But so that's what we're talking about, is you want to go create a database of the people like that. So what you're going to do then, so now let me get to still talking about but first I want to finish up what Ken was asking. Are you clear on, you're good on permission, you're good on this piece of it. You got to have contact with them. And here's the thing, if you'll create value for the people, it's no problem to call them, because they love you, they appreciate you. And if they don't, red. Okay. So now let me give you, here's protocol number 4. Protocol number 4 is this. Actually, before I go to you, why are we calling them every month? What would be the purpose of us making
Set an appointment.
See, I've set you up all week to say that, and this time it's wrong.
I know, but stay top of mind.
And it's not to stay top of mind. So
It's
everybody's
to
like, well, I'm not going to answer
Clear
that.
out your database.
It is to find the red. The whole purpose of our phone call is to find the red. You're not calling to get an appointment. You're not calling to find the green. You're calling to find the red. Why do I want to find the red? So I can get rid of it. See, the secret to this system is not the green, it's getting rid of the red. So it's what Ken was asking is, okay, so how do I know? So how am I going to know they're red? Well, here's how you're going to know. As you're making these phone calls, let's say that I call and they answer the phone, but in the conversation, they're not really that engaged in the conversation. Ultimately, what I'm going to do then is, the first time that happens, I'm just going to write it off of they had a bad day. Okay, maybe it was I called them at a bad time. Oh well. But I'm going to make a note in my database about, hey, they were kind of a little offish. Then let's say I call Dylan back the next month and he does it again. I'm going to probably say, now look, if I was calling to try to find the green, I would never do what I'm about to do. But because of the purpose of my call is this, and this is the piece that you'll remember I said, come back to this class. This is the piece you're going to forget. Is the next time you came back to class, if I said, what are we calling for? You're going to say to set an appointment. Nope, I'm calling to find the red. The whole purpose of my phone calls is to find the red so I can get rid of them. Because if I get rid of them, anybody that I put in is going to be better than them. Okay, so yeah.
I just real quick question and back to protocol 3.
Okay.
Is there any caveats that we better be careful about when we recommend somebody on our list?
Yeah, the only caveat is what I said is I can't guarantee you their work.
Okay.
They've just
no
done
matter
a great
what it
job.
is, just say, listen, this is what happened to me.
This is what happened to me. I can't guarantee you'll get the, You just put a little asterisk,
Well, the reason I
results
asked,
vary.
I recommended somebody and it blew up my face. I
Yeah.
lost a deal out of it.
Yeah, so you do have that as a potential issue, but I would just say, hey, they've done a great job for me. This
Okay.
is what okay. So when I call, if I call and I notice that Dylan's a little hesitant this time, this is how I'm gonna handle it. So I'm gonna say, so, hey, Dylan, I appreciate you taking my call and, glad things are going well for you. But I just wanted to find out, are you still okay with me sending you the information and staying in touch with you?
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, if that ever changes, will you let me know?
Of course.
Because the last thing I want to do is be calling and bugging you. Who is it that said that, Michelle? Last thing I want to do is have you feel like I'm bugging you. So if you ever feel that way, will you let me know? Of course. Thanks. See, if you're looking for the red, you give people permission to be red. Now, you don't want to convince them. I don't want to call and be like, you don't want me to call you anymore, do you? Because they'll be like, I guess not. Don't convince them to be red, but give them the chance. If you feel like, so here's the thing. Here's how you know they're red. If when you pull up your database and you see their name and phone number to call, and you're hesitant to call them, they're probably red. So here's the good news. It's the whole idea of this. Get the free throw. You don't have to call them. Just if you don't want to call them, get rid of them. Replace them with somebody you do want to call. That's what you want. See, you should have zero hesitation in making these phone calls. And if you do, you got the wrong people. So get rid of them. They're red. Get rid of them. Okay. The other way is, like I said, if you start to just get the feeling when talking to them, like maybe they're not interested, just reestablish permission. Just say, hey, are you okay with me doing it? Yeah, I'm okay. Okay, well, if that ever changes, will you let me know? Because I don't want you to feel like I'm bugging you ever. And if you do, just tell me. Okay. Then I'll leave him in if he says yes. But if he says, yeah, I'm probably never going to refer anybody to you. Okay.
Russ, would you do that in face to face or is it over the phone usually? When you get to that
Either one.
protocol.
I don't care. Either one.
Might say which one works best.
Well, probably most of the time it's going to be that, but I might have the personal contact with it. It might be somebody that I see at the gym every day or that cuts my hair. And if that's the case, face to face, I don't care. It doesn't matter.
Neither one's better. Okay.
No.
Thank you.
I just shared a trick of the trade with the social media. If you have someone on your contact or on your social media as one of your past clients or as part of your sphere, and you share something or tag them on that, or even comment on some of their posts, their friends are now going to see your stuff. So sometimes the friend will just assume it's an automatic referral because that person does business with you. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, thanks. Good. Okay, so next part of this on red. Here's the other thing. Once you have permission, it's okay to, on this personal contact, you could even send a text message of just, hey, just checking in to see if you had any real estate needs, if there's anything I can help you with. But if they don't respond to your text, that's an indication they may be red. So I wouldn't just the first time they don't respond, I wouldn't like go pounce on them. Hey, are you still okay with me doing this? Because it might be just for whatever reason they read it, they were in the middle of something and then forgot, whatever. So like give them a couple of times, but then at some point though, if they're not responding, so whether you're calling and leaving a message, you're sending a text message, whatever, if somewhere along the way you feel like you're not sure, then I would shoot them a text or leave a message, either one, that says, I have a really important question for you. Give me a call. Now, what happens if they don't call?
They don't care.
If they don't call, they don't care, they're red, get rid of it. Just drop it. Now, what if they do call? What's your really important question?
Do you want to buy or something?
No.
I have a select group that I'm still talking to.
Yeah.
Did you still want to be in it?
Close, yes. Essentially, that's what, when they do call, hey, you said you had a really important question. I would say, yeah, I've left you 3 messages or I texted you or whatever and I haven't heard back. I just want to find out if you're seeing value in what I'm sending to you and if you're okay if I still stay in touch with you about real estate. And if they say yes, then you're golden and go ahead and decide if you want to keep doing it. If not, if they go, yeah, I'm probably never going to sell our house. That's fine. I don't care if you ever sell, but if you hear somebody, would you pass my name on? If they say yes, And you want to keep them in, keep them in. If they say, yeah, I'm just not the referring type, you know, they may say what Ed said earlier. I did that once before and it blew up in my face, so I'm not going to do it. Okay, great. See, if I'm looking for red, when you find a red, you should be excited. You shouldn't be disappointed, discouraged, feel rejected. In fact, you should be like I did with you guys when I was like, for real. And you finally said yes. And I was like, high five, thank you. You told me the truth. That's how you should approach this with them, is when you get the, yeah, I'd probably be better if you took me off your list. You should be like, oh, thank you. I appreciate it, because now you're discovering the reds and I can get rid of them and put somebody else in there that would do better than they're going to do. Does that make sense? Yes. All right. How else do you know if they're red? You drive by their house and there's a for sale sign out front and it's not yours. They're red. Okay. The other way you're going to know if they're red is they just tell you, don't call me anymore. And they're red. Okay. But the biggest thing, I would say the biggest way you're going to know is when you look at their name and you're like, oh, maybe I'll call them tomorrow. If that happens, they're red. Like, why have people in there you're hesitant to call? They should all be people in there that you're excited to call. And if you're not, then they're red. Go find somebody else. So go ahead.
Sorry, what do you say to people? Like, that's my biggest thing. I like my clients a lot, past clients, but I don't want to just call, oh, hi. Like, what's the point of the call?
So yeah.
Just checking, just saying hi, or?
So just checking in to see if you have any real estate questions, anything I can help you with, or if you know of anybody. Nope. Okay. Well, is there anything that I could help you with that's outside of real estate? Is there anything going on that you could use help from? And then if they say yes, then take that to the database and be like, hey, I'm looking for somebody that can whatever.
Okay.
But yeah, that's what you want to do. Okay. All right. What else? There was similar. There was one. No, that was. I don't know. What questions do you have? Thoughts? Oh, I know what I have done. All right. Last thing, then we'll be there. So how does this work? Why is it worth doing this? Here's why. If I have 200 people in the database, and what I had told you guys is what you're looking for is you're wanting to get it to where it's the mature and you've got it at 60%, where 60% of the people are either referring business to you or doing business with you. So if I got referrals from these 200 people, that would be what's 60%? Never mind. I know how this math is going. I'll just tell you. Oh, okay, thanks. Good job.
Look at it. Sometimes I can do it.
Okay, good.
Catch me in a good.
So that would be 120 referrals, or people that would say, come out and talk to us. We might want to sell our house. We've been thinking about it. Now, not all of them are going to. So let's just say that turns into half that end up being somebody that goes further with. Mm-hmm. But let's not even say you're going to get all of those. Let's say you only got half of that actually turned into a deal. Times that by your 15,000 equals what? Watch how fast you guys are good at doing this math. 450,000, which is what I told you guys when I asked you, is like, bummer. I wanted more, so don't do it. Right?
Very happy.
And all you have to do is follow these protocols. Get 200 people in there, get permission from all 200. You got to have permission to put them in there. Then you put them on neighborhood news, give them a call, email, text, text or personal contact, some type of personal contact once a month where you're saying, is there anything, do you have any real estate needs? And honestly, keep it short. I mean, you can ask how's family, do you got any trips, anything fun that way. But as far as the real estate side of it, it's just, hey, anything I can help you with. Anybody you know of thinking of buying or selling? Nope. Okay, talk to you next month. See ya. Yeah. And the whole purpose of the phone call, though, is to find the red. Don't do it the way I did with you guys. But essentially, that's what you're trying to do, is you're trying to do a for real. But don't do it that way. Instead, just say, just anytime you could just ask, though, hey, I just want to verify that you're okay with me staying in contact with you this way, and ask, sending you the email and helping you out that way.
So, you know how we started out with, we're all liars. Buyers are liars, sellers are liars. So what would be, I know, you know, you want to refine and get quality, not quantity, and the red dropping off. But just because I'm no today doesn't mean I'm no tomorrow, or, you know, or people need to. So is there just drop off, or is it, you know,
Great
in a
question.
different, like, you know, don't bother them every month, bother them, you know, only send them the mailers, or, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Like, I
Great
never
question.
felt right with just, unless, you know, there was a clear indicator, you know, that they said, don't opt out, or,
Yeah.
hey, if you ever call me again, you know.
Yeah, which that is the other thing on neighborhood news is they could opt out.
Yeah.
You'll very rarely get that, but they could. But
So drop, do you mean by drop, you mean delete them from your CRM, delete them from the existence of your business?
So I always have a hard time answering that question because the answer is do whatever you want with it.
Yeah.
But for me, I actually removed them from so I guess here's how I would say to do it is my fear in answering that question is always this. My fear is that you end up not getting rid of them, and instead of keeping it as a closed system, it then becomes an open system.
I get it.
That's my fear. So, but if you were to within Moxie Engage, put the people in and you created a group that you called select group of people, or just whatever you want to call it. I always called mine, it was my jelly bean jar, is how I always refer to it. But and then what I did, the reason I did that is I had gone and bought 2 jelly bean jars and I put red and green jelly beans in it. And I had one that had 93 red jelly beans and 7 green. And then the other jelly bean jar had 60 green and 40 red. That's just a visual reminder to me of, do you want to work this system or do you want to work this system? But so for me, I just got rid of the people because for me, now here's the thing though, well, like you said, that just because they are a no now doesn't mean they won't be one later. Like if you wanted to keep them in the database,
I just gotta check this.
oh,
Sorry.
I thought you were gonna turn it.
No,
I can.
that's it. We're good.
I guess like this is my forecast is like, you've got all these millennials finally starting to get in.
Yeah.
They don't really have loyalty. They don't have that. They may say no today, and then just by way of you show up on their feed or you're in a reel and you're, you know, it worries me to say that if there's an interaction that makes you believe, you know, a drop, that there's nothing to lose by, you know, if they are okay with it, touching them in whatever way, in the hopes that they could change their mind, or
Yeah,
that
my only fear in that is that it then becomes an open system and you'll not
they'll
have
be
the
running
success.
around. Okay.
That's a good question, because I do that too.
Yeah.
Because you think, okay, well, so-and-so's like a grandma or something, and you know, they're not your,
Social
what do
media.
you do with that person?
Social media, what it does is, I think, and I'm a little bit, I'm over that age where I'm not in with the crew, but I think what it does is it legitimizes, like, let's say I post something, a listing or some nugget of knowledge on social media. If my cousin comments and their, you know, coworker, if they're a great attorney and sees it, like that no, let's say, you know, could essentially help you get a yes from some weird random trigger of events. Because the thing that I'm seeing with the millennial, like that rush was, you know, I had a lot of listings at that time. And it would be, I would see this buyer come in one listing, you know, there was no inventory. So sometimes they were in the same price. So I'd see a buyer with one agent come in with another agent, come in with another agent. And I'm thinking, damn, that's a, you know, pretty rough, you know, world to live in. So if you're taking somebody in their, so, you know, in your sphere, I wouldn't want to fall victim to being in the rotation or being somewhat part of their sort of mindless way of selecting somebody, and considering anyone a rat.
Yeah, so, yeah, like I say, at the end of the day, you do however you want to do it. I would recommend that you just drop them. Now, here's why though, is what I have found is typically, you're not gonna, Well, early on, when you're first starting this, you're gonna be, so for Dylan, it's brand new, you're gonna be adding and dropping people like crazy at first. Versus Ken's not gonna like, he's already got solid. Think of it as, in order to get into his database, you already gotta be up here. To get into his database, like, you know, you're competent, okay, like, I'll put you in. But because of that, you're gonna turn them over because people lie. Yeah, you do that, and then they'll never respond to you. They gave you the wrong phone number or whatever. So early on, it's gonna churn a lot. But some of these people, if Ken had them and he goes, you know what, I've been staying in contact with these people for 10 years. They've never once given me a lead. I'm dropping them. I guarantee you, when they have a need, they're still gonna call him, even though he's dropped. So I would say the key thing is, though, on that is you got to be creating value for the people, that's where I'm saying creating the database of, is there anything that I can help you outside of real estate, and then take that to your database and say, hey, I got somebody who's looking for this type of a mechanic or whatever. Somebody in that database is going to know somebody that you can get them to.
I would, to just piggyback on, help or not help, it's just my experience in answering your question or your dilemma, is that the younger generation, the method of communicating is different. They don't want to call you.
Yeah, no.
That's so you know, text message.
You're gonna have to text.
And there's goes even further. Like, people are now developing, in a sense, like a Pinterest board of real estate on social media. So they go and they'll take a picture of, instead of the same house and a virtual tour, they'll just take a picture of the killer kitchen or fireplace and make a comment and post it. And that's enough intrigue to connect with that millennial. Don't have them contact you. It's a different.
You mean like Facebook is what you're talking about?
Pinterest. No, I'm talking about any kind of
any social.
No, but like,
Any
when I go
social,
show a
okay.
property, if I take a picture of the
Like
view
Instagram
and I
or
post
something like
it on my Instagram stories,
You're
and I
tapping into
say,
a whole different type.
what
of,
if you, my friends are like, where is that property?
that's,
Oh.
How much
that's
is
the
it?
thing. That's what it's gonna do. And it's a different
What do you think?
connection.
Is that how you word it, by the way? Just people say, where is this?
Yeah. You leave like little hooks of like, look at this.
Nice
I'm at
kitchen,
the,
or whatever.
beach views, and people are like, how much is it?
Oh,
Like,
let's say where.
or they'll say,
like,
Web
that
City,
happens,
yeah.
you need to call them.
Yeah.
You know,
Or
like
exactly.
today, I
Or text.
posted something and the person tagged their friend.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna call my client and say,
Yeah.
does that person need?
Yeah, I noticed you tagged this person as their.
Tag them. Are they looking for a home?
Maybe the rule of thumb is drop them from any action that is sucking away from your time
Yeah,
and your energy.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say, is drop them from this. Like, if you want to keep them on your social media, you want to
Those are two different.
call them on their
places.
birthday,
Yeah.
whatever,
Yeah.
totally different.
That's a big, this year, what he's talking about, it's really, it sounds great and everything. It's a lot of work.
Yeah, it is.
You
That's
know,
what I'm
so
saying.
that's why you want to have that pinned down.
Yeah.
Because you're not gonna do it.
You're not gonna do it
It
for more
becomes
than
very daunting and you feel awkward and what have you. The social media and all that is a different path. Your true database should be,
Yeah, and you can use the social media that way. Use the social media stuff to build this.
Right.
Like, that could be part of your funnel into here. That's
right,
great.
it should be a funnel.
I don't think it's just millennials that have no loyalty, because
I'm not trying to.
no, but I'm, as someone who's like, Ken, have you seen that forever, that buyers have said they were using you and then you see them right with other people? Because I know my mom had.
Oh, yeah.
And so I think,
That doesn't happen.
well, you're just, well, then you just start mad about my mom, I'll let her know. No, but I think it's also what Russ teaches, is they're not doing what Russ is teaching, and they're not
Yes.
Yeah.
creating their value as the agent, so
Exactly.
they're like, well, I'll just go with whoever instead of
I agree.
making the
It's like, if
realization.
you lose a client, it's your own fault.
Yep.
That's the bottom line.
Yep.
Is that you're the one to blame for it.
Mhm.
It's not their fault.
Mhm.
You had the business. It's like my BMW I buy. I lease I lease all the time. Every 3 years. I had a great experience with the guy who bought it, who sold it to me, and I have no problem using them again. I don't remember who sold me that car, but if he called me every few
Yeah.
months and told me, by the way, we got this free, let me come in, let me wash your car, let me do this, let me do whatever. Come that time again, or even if you call me a month before and say, hey, by the time, I just realized your lease is coming up,
after he had done all those other things, there's no way I'm using anyone else.
Right.
Exactly. Cool. Cool. What other questions? All right, we're done. Thanks for being here.
No, I'm just saying, get
Honestly, people think it's better. By the way, just let you know, these do run out of ink, so you can throw them away.
Okay.
Okay, these
So,
are disposable
when I
fountain
was a
pens.
kid, I had the worst. I used to go like this and this, so they gave me.
Yeah, they should like, yeah, yeah.
Yes,
You
and now
got a hold of my